when I hear the word attain, what comes up for me is a sense of conscious agency, being able to apply one's will toward some self-declared aim, and to ascertain it. And then when I think about a child, I'm not sure that the word attain feels quite relevant for a few reasons. One, of course, at a young age, you cannot actually give informed consent about what you're getting into. Two, you haven't developed your own sense of identity yet. So your map of the world is largely reliant upon your caregivers, the society, etc. And there's no way that a young person developmentally, psychologically, physiologically, can understand the short, mid, and long-term implications of commercializing their maybe passion at home for performing on the mantle, not on the mantle, but like on the staircase. So I might, if it's all right, swap out the word attain with subjected to. And to answer what it was like to be subjected to fame as a young person, now that I've researched for, 7+ years, and I'm coming to you now for context for people listening as both someone with lived experience, but also a certified mental health practitioner, I see this ecosystem very differently. And I notice that we are collectively, inadvertently often, signing up young people to be what I call entered onto the toddler to train wreck pipeline.
Ooh, okay.
From the outside looking in, I fully understand, let it be known, that it would probably be hard to empathize with this subset of people who are depicted most of the time as reckless, entitled, luxury-seeking, and attaining kinds of young people who seemingly have it all. But what if I told you that underneath that facade, there has been a century-old industry ecosystem exploiting the child through labor and other ways, but then concealing it behind that veneer so that when we notice this inevitable downturn, we on the outside
blame the child,
blame the individual, and have no other awareness of what else might be going on.
Okay, so this, I think, is the core of what a lot of people want to know. And I want to just kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, as a caveat, I think that a lot of people get confused between causation and correlation. So they'll hear something like this and they'll think it's conspiratorial, and it's like, no, things can just be what they are and not be some secret backroom conspiracy. But that's almost scarier because it means that it's normalized when it's not normal. So you are qualified to speak about this, not just from your training, but can you tell us a little bit more? Because you shared some stories about how you kind of got into this space in your book. And I think that would help people kind of contextualize this a little better. You were someone that had talent that was nurtured, right? But talk to us about what that did, what it looked like in this quick explosion to high visibility.
Yes. So full support as parents, guardians, caregivers. If you notice that your young one has a knack for something and you want to help nurture that skill set or provide them opportunities to explore, yes, absolutely. The difference is the industry is not community theater.
That's right.
And the industry involves the commercialization of your child. Let's talk socialization. After age 8 or 9, I worked on the first Missy video, and unexpectedly, the outcome of being recognized, in public
you blew up. Yeah.
It was
huge.
You can imagine it's bizarre for any adult,
of course.
I had no map of the world, and suddenly, literally from age 8, I've never known what it's like to live a day without
Anonymity.
people approaching me,
Yeah.
a camera recording me, etc. So socializing, instead of being with peers my age and bonding and hobbies, whatever, I either was in competition with the person next to me in the room, or I was navigating what I now know is a parasocial relationship with someone who identifies as a fan. And therefore, I'm kind of learning inadvertently about this customer service mode where when I leave the home, I'm on. I'm ready to serve.
Sure.
You know, everything for me was filtered through that concept of service, but it was a naive understanding of service because it lacked healthy boundaries.
And the nuance also that you're not placed in this world for other people's purposes. And
that
having
would take me
that
a long time.
Well, I know. I was going to say
the meaning that I made out of it was, oh, then I am a product for consumption. I am insert the next judgment or criticism that I read
It's
online.
So scary. Oh my gosh.
And so highly impressionable, but also taking on these adult roles. And I want to clarify, just because I was in adult workplaces with adult responsibilities does not mean that my brain was using the same kind of decision making to navigate them. I actually, at best, was only simulating adulthood.
There's no way. Your brain is not developed. It actually is not possible.
And so because it was more of a, in my experience, let's give some specifics, like 80-hour work weeks, navigating kidnapping plots, managing a stalker, all while I'm a minor, those experiences, as you can imagine, are too much, too soon, too intense.
Too big for a little person.
For my mind and body. So what's that going to do to any of us who've experienced adverse childhood experiences? We're going to find, I mean, the human mind and body are fascinating in all the different coping strategies we will explore and lean into consciously, subconsciously throughout the course of our lives. My coping strategies, I came to understand later, were dissociation. Basically, the mind and body saying, I need to actually go offline here, disconnect, depersonalize, derealize this experience, compartmentalize what's happening. However, what I didn't know is that when you constantly suppress everything with no opportunity to process, express, release, well, then it's just somewhere stored in your nervous system.
That's right.
And one day later,
it'll come out where you don't want it.
Yes, yeah.
That's right.
Aches and pains and chronic illnesses and
all the
burnout and things.
Your body will break down. Absolutely. And we've talked about that a lot here. People who've gone through divorce after many years of being in a certain, PTSD situation. You'll see it all.
If fame correlated to better health outcomes and human flourishing, then I would use the phrase democratization of opportunity. But here is what the research shows, specifically about the experience of fame. First, fame, people experiencing fame have somewhere between, on average, 12 to 14 years shorter lifespan for a number of reasons that we can unpack on our
I'm sure people
call.
Can figure that out. You know what I mean? Like
a lot of different experiences there. The second piece of research shows that people who are experiencing fame are 3 to 4 times more likely to die by suicide. And let's clarify, even if you don't experience a high degree of fame, but you're an entertainer, creative in the industry.
High visibility. Yeah.
And not even super high visibility, but just working in the industry. The training that I just went through, they presented a diagram where actually it's up to 22 times as likely to be more vulnerable to die by suicide.
That is terrifying.
So that's alarming.
At what point were you like, it's not just about me? You know, I'm going to make this, like I'm putting this book out there because people need to know.
I'm going to admit that I am reluctantly here.
Yes.
With the megaphone. I would much prefer to be at home or in a cave.
It's also safer. I mean, it's crazy right now. Like, I will tell you, the way people will come for you for having any opinion that is rooted in, because people can't argue with both your training and your lived experience. That is very scary, you know, for a media that is so profitable. You're like taking on, you know, it's David and Goliath here, you know?
I mean, hey, You see it.
You got it. You
I
got
feel
it, though. It'll be the two of us, though. I'll be loading up your slingshot, sis.
Cool.
And go for it. You know what I mean?
And also, really, all I'm trying to do is have a conversation with Goliath.
Yes, right. I love this about you. Like, you don't, I don't know if you guys are picking up the era. Alyson is, or the energy right here is like, Alyson's like literally like, guys, can we just talk about how this might be a little bit a lot so that we could just figure it out? Like, I want to work with you.
Think about it. Goliath
Yeah.
can reach places I can't reach.
That is so true.
Goliath can accomplish way more. The velocity, maybe not speed. I don't know how fast Goliath is these days, but
right.
Can cover so much territory.
Sure.
So by no means am I saying that we will always be able to transform the systems from the inside out, or that we have to just go in and politely request for change. Like, that's not what I'm saying. However, if there are opportunities sometimes to align with people who are a part of the Goliath,
that's right,
and say, hey, I'm going to assume that if you had this information, you would want to do better or do differently.